Alrighty, here we go. Hey guys, it's been a while since I've actually spoken to many of you. I think it was maybe back when I played Dying Light and said how shit that game was. But there's a specific reason that I'm talking right now, because I want to try something different, something new with the channel. I want to introduce like a little episode thing that I can do maybe once a month or more if you guys like it. It's I've seen other YouTubers do it. Nostalgia Critic, Angry Joe, Smitty, they've all done their little talking over gameplay, just discussing random stuff. So I just thought while I mess around here and like fix up the little issues that may arise during my Jurassic World Evolution zoo building experience here, that I could discuss different topics. I could do this on different games, maybe like Halo Wars 2, this game of course, games like Kingdom Come Deliverance, which I'm gonna get soon, maybe Sea of Thieves as well. If you think that's a good idea, just leave a comment and maybe even give me suggestions if you do like it, like what to discuss. I wanted to discuss something that I've been thinking about for the past like year. It's it's got nothing to do with video games. It's movie remakes and how a lot of them are shit. What I mean is I went to see Avengers Endgame. Loved it. You guys should definitely check it out. It's such an emotional movie. And during it, there was a trailer for The Lion King, the live action CGI interpretation. And I couldn't help but think, why does this exist? Like, why does this movie need to exist? It's going to be the exact same movie with different actors in different roles saying the same exact dialogue that was said back in 1993. Now, Lion King is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, animated movies of all time. Up there with Toy Story, and I know Frozen is cliche, but that's probably the biggest animated movie in the past 10 years. But it's up there with those three, if not the best of all time. Why remake that? It's why it's perfect the way it is. The art style is incredible. The way the animation is done is flawless. Let me go ahead and prepare for the storm that's coming through there. But the animation, the directing, or not directing, but the acting choices for all the characters, all phenomenal. So, why remake it? I mean, you even have James Earl Jones back playing Mufasa. You might as well just take the audio from his original, like, saying. I'm sorry, I'm mixing my words. Just take the audio from his original performance and just stick it in the movie over a CGI lion, and then that'll be it. I've had this issue with a lot of the stuff that Disney's been doing lately. Like Beauty and the Beast is in that top 5 of best animated films of all time. Same with Aladdin. And they are remaking them, and they're awful. I actually went to go see Beauty and the Beast, and it's Nostalgia Critic pointed on this as well, and you could check his video out. But it's incredibly dull. The singing isn't that good. Just everything about it is half-assed compared to the animated movie, which is damn near flawless. I don't understand the need to remake all this stuff. And, oh, I mentioned Aladdin. Why does that need to be made either? Like, you had one of the greatest performances from Robin Williams. Everyone knows that. Even if you've never seen Aladdin, everybody knows the performance of Robin Williams. But now you remake it with Will Smith, who I like Will Smith, but this doesn't need to exist in the slightest. He it's an ugly looking genie. It's an ugly CGI blue monstrosity that looks like it should have came out in the 90s, like freaking Kazam. It is laughable how hold on a second. There we go. It is laughable how half-assed these movies have been. The only one that I like, that the live-action Disney movies that have came out in recent years, is Maleficent. And that's only because it is a complete alternate retelling of the Sleeping Beauty story, where it focuses on Maleficent, and spoilers if you've never seen it and plan on seeing it, is basically an anti-hero instead of a pure evil villain. She grows fond, basically becomes the mother of Sleeping Beauty. The king is an evil psychopath. It's just, it was a completely different retelling, which makes things interesting. You sit back and like, huh, I never thought about this. But Sleeping Beauty, that worked. Or Maleficent and Sleeping Beauty, that worked. Lion King is the same movie. Literally, the trailer for Aladdin and Lion King both are the same trailer in live action from the trailers that released in the 90s. It's atrocious how half-assed it is. And like Cinderella tried to do different stuff, but it just didn't click. And then there's Sleeping Beauty, who I'm sorry, I keep messing up saying Sleeping Beauty. What was it again? I can't see, it's so forgettable. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast was literally the same exact movie with all the energy taken out of it. Cut down, like it, or not even cut down, it's a longer movie, but the scenes are like, can't hear me snapping my fingers, but like this, hurry up, let's do this, let's complete this. You know the emotion that was here between Belle and the Beast? Oh, screw it. You know that they had dinner? Oh, no, never mind, the Beast isn't here. Like they just move on, and like, I don't want to, you ruin it. They ruin it. Beauty and the Beast was an awful movie. Second worst movie. Next to Dumbo. Why did Dumbo even need to be made? I know I said that about the others, but literally, Dumbo, I saw one trailer, the movie dropped, and I never heard anything about that movie again. It was overtaken by Captain Marvel and Shazam and every movie that came out at that time when it dropped as well. It was completely and utterly wiped out, and I hope the same thing happens to Lion King, and I hope the same thing happens to Aladdin, because Disney has been half-assing these movies since the, I don't even know what year Maleficent came out, but since then they've half-assed all these movies. They're boring, they're the same thing, and they need to move on. But Disney's not been the only one doing this recently. Hellboy came out a month ago, maybe, and I haven't seen Hellboy, so I can't really judge, but from everything I've heard about it, it falls into the same tropes. This Hellboy seemed like it was trying to be more like the book, the comic Hellboy, battling all types of weird mutant monsters and all types of different stuff. But from what I've read of it, it sounds like it falls in the same tropes as the Disney remakes. It's low energy, half-assed, Apparently atrocious CGI, but if you even watch the damn trailers, you could see that. It's like everybody is trying so damn hard to remake stuff that really should never be breathed on or touched again. And, like, there's been good remakes, of course. Spider-Man, that's been remade twice. And in my opinion, Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man. The Spider-Man that should stay. Tobey Maguire was great for his time, because in his time, it was awful. Like, the other superhero movies around that time besides X-Men, and that's really it, were X-Men and Blade were all atrocious. Spawn was awful. Fucking Shaq as Steel was awful. The Batman movies had ran into the shitter. Tank Girl was bad. Just, it was all just awful. And there was still shit after the Spider-Man, of course. Hell, their third sequel, which... Look, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. If Spider-Man 3 didn't have Venom, I think it would have been a good movie. Would have been better than 2 and 1? Doubtful. But when they crammed in Venom and had Peter turn into the dancing emo, and like Toby, or not Toby Maguire, Topher fucking Grace is Venom, it killed that movie dead. Because Flint Marko, Sandman, was amazing. That's what those movies did well. Yes, Green Goblin is... it's out there. Willem Dafoe was out there, to say the least, as Green Goblin. But Doc Ock was perfect. Was awesome. Yeah, Flint Marko, Sandman. An amazing, like, story of a guy who escaped from prison, who was, like, trying just to see his family, see his daughter, and he got trapped in an accident. And he got turned into a sand monster, the Sandman. And he still wanted to make money to help his daughter. And, like, it was a wonderful arc in that movie. And Peter forgives him for what happened to his grandpa, Uncle Ben. It's a wonderful arc, but it's buried underneath an atrocious movie. Like, what I mean by atrocious movie, I specifically mean I'm getting tongue-tied again. An atrocious Venom movie. Venom is not that hard to do. It really isn't. And I can't wait. I know it's going to come eventually, but I can't wait for Venom to come in the MCU. I hope they bring in Tom Hardy to play Venom. But, well, Tom Hardy to come in as Venom, since he already had his movie. And it's decent. It's much better than Spider-Man 3, at least in my opinion. But I went on a tangent. Back to, like, the superhero movies being remade. The X-Men, holy fucking Jesus, where do I even start with them? They have been I can't even call them remakes. They're supposedly alternate timelines, but it's been so destroyed with like 4 or 5 different timelines. It's like completely thrown together. The original X-Men, like from 1999 to 2006, I think that's when X-Men Last Stand was. I can't be too sure. The casting for certain roles, such as Professor X and Wolverine and Magneto, all great. Storm was extremely bad. Well, I can't call it extreme, but Halle Berry isn't Storm. That's not Storm at all, and her awful hair in the third movie speaks volumes. Again, going on a tangent. What I was going to say is, what in the hell... I'm blanking. Sorry, I'm trying to think here of what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. The timelines of those movies are destroyed. Charles Xavier and fucking Magneto went to fucking Jean Grey's house as when Jean Grey was a child in the 90s in X-Men Last Stand. And the latest X-Men movie is taking place in the 90s with young Charles Xavier and young freaking Magneto. And it's just that movie, by the way, is gonna suck so bad. Everybody shat all over X-Men Apocalypse, and it's not a great film, but I don't hate it. It's alright. We finally got the X-Men in nice, cool-ass uniforms. We got them together. We got the team together, basically. But, like, I can't wait for Marvel to get the license. Well, they do have the license. I can't wait for them to start making X-Men movies in the MCU. Because right now, Dark Phoenix is going to be atrocious. I just have a feeling it looks bad. They're rewriting it ever since they announced the damn thing. Same thing's happening with New Mutants, and I was actually looking forward to that one. Son of a bitch. There we go. And I was actually looking forward to New Mutants. But Dark Phoenix just looks like a run-of-the-mill, literally on the level of... I'm trying to think of a terrible... like Ghost Rider. It looks like it's probably on the level of Ghost Rider. That's bad. Especially for 2019. Everything and I'm worried because I've heard people say, like people behind the scenes have been doing reports and stuff on it, that it's about as bad as Fantastic Four. Not Fantastic Four in the 2000s, Fantastic Four from 2016. Now, if any of you have seen that movie, it is the worst comic book movie ever made. Dark, to the point that it makes Batman vs. Superman look like Barney's Magical Fucking Adventure. The characters are all unlikable, even though I like some of the casting choices in that movie. They're all unlikable. They're all mad and moody. Doom is a fucking crash test dummy. The fucking final fight comes out of nowhere, and like... they defeat Doom in like 2 seconds, and then that's the end. Hooray, you actually did something. Well done, guys. And they never even... I know Avengers, but at least they called the team the Avengers in the first Avengers movie. In Fan4stick, which is what I call that garbage movie, they don't even call them the Fantastic Four. They're like, guys, I got the best name at the very end, and then it cuts to black to the fucking ugly-looking Fantastic Four logo from that movie. I'm hoping, now that Marvel's got Fox, or not Marvel, Disney's got Fox, that they'll actually do the Fantastic Four right, do the X-Men right, and do a bunch of other stuff. Hell, I'm hoping now, spoiler, and spoiler for Avengers Endgame. You've been warned. Turn off the video now if you don't want to hear anything. But now that Thanos is gone, snapped out of existence, now that his army is gone, who's going to be the new main villain? I'm hoping and I'm praying that we're going to finally get a good Silver Surfer and a good Galactus. Oh my god, what just happened? But like I was saying, a good Silver Surfer and a good Galactus. Because Galactus is a villain I've been wanting for so long. The dude that dwarfs planets and eats them. What the hell are the Avengers gonna do against that? They're gonna have Captain Feminism take him out? I doubt it. She'd probably get flicked into the fucking... like, it'd be so cool, the stories they could tell. Galactus taking out all kinds of planets, like eating Xandar, eating like a bunch of different stuff on his way to Earth to help, bringing the X-Men to help. It'd be so damn interesting. But as of right, nothing has been set in stone for Galactus or Silver Surfer. It's kind of up in the air. But still, I think though. Also, one final little thing I wanted to go over here. what was it? What was it? What was it? Oh yeah, Daredevil, Defenders. While the other Defenders shows, well, all the Defender shows at this point has been canceled and probably, Jesus Christ, probably being moved over to. Oh, never mind. Star Wars is something I want to. Star Wars season. I can't remember when, but I am hype as shit for it. Like, I have never been more hyped for something because it's a story that's been hinted at. It's a story that's been told, and it's a story we've all been waiting for. Son of a bitch. It's a story that was ended prematurely thanks to the cancellation of Star Wars Clone Wars originally. Star Wars Clone Wars is, and I don't know if it always will be, but it is, for first 21 years of my life, my favorite television show of all time. I watched it when it first debuted, and I watched the final episode. I love every character, every arc. It's just the perfect telling of the Clone Wars that had never been just really described before, besides the micro-series that came out in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, which is a great series. It's made like Samurai Jack, which is a big friggin' plus enough, but it's got cool action. It's got the introduction of Asajj Ventress and General Grievous, two of my favorite Star Wars villains and anti-hero in the case of Ventress of all time. And, like, those are great, but this is a more fleshed out story with fleshed out characters that lead action, and especially now that the season, like the new final season is coming, the story of all these characters will finally be complete. It'll tie into Rebels, because Rebels, like a friend of mine, Tyler Ewing, said that he doesn't like Rebels, the main cast, and I can see what he's coming from. The main cast of Rebels is not the best. They're good, but like they're replaceable. At least that's what he says. I personally believe that they're great characters, because if you watch the show from the very beginning, when it was all kid friendly and it was all Clone Wars was the same way. I mean, especially if you've seen that damn Clone Wars movie. That's a kidified movie if I've ever seen one. But the Clone Wars TV series and Rebels, especially the later seasons of Rebels, were so good. They were so good. They go over all types of, like, tough, like, moral choices. They explain stories. Hell, in, like, the lost episodes of the Clone Wars, they bring in Darth Bane. That's a character that has never been talked about, like, in the new Disney canon. He's never really been brought up. Darth Bane is one of the greatest Sith of all time, and yet he's been ignored and basically just uncanonized, basically. But they brought him back, and he's voiced by Mark Hamill. That shows how much that I like about that character, and I'm hoping eventually, because Resistance, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, Resistance sucks. Its art style is ugly. It reminds me of the 2003 Spider-Man animated series, like the new Spider-Man animated series or whatever the hell it was called. That art style was ugly then, and it's ugly as hell now. Like I was saying about the Clone Wars and Rebels. The story is better than the sequel trilogy that's been going on. The story that ranges from the Clone Wars to Rebels is one of the best Star Wars stories ever written, and it's about Ahsoka Tano, basically. It's her story. It's the story of all types of different, like, characters that are intertwined, that live, that die, that move on, that just impact you. The characters in Clone Wars and Rebels impact you more than, besides the original trilogy, it impacts you more than the prequel trilogy. It impacts you more than the sequel trilogy. It impacts you more than the spin-offs, even though the spin-offs I enjoy. Solo, I loved, and Rogue One, I loved. But you get what I mean. It impacts you more than all of those films. It is the closest we will ever get to a truly great story like that was told with the original trilogy and the sequel books that came out with Jason Solo and Ben Skywalker and all types of amazing stuff like that. Now, I may be wrong. The trailer for Rise of Skywalker, I think that's the name of it, the title for the new Star Wars movie coming out in December, because it's in the trailer. Palpatine is somehow alive after being yeeted down an elevator shaft all the way back in 1981. The man has been falling for decades, and yet somehow he's still alive. The Death Star exploded into a jillion pieces. If you've played Battlefront 2, you know what I mean. It has exploded into a jillion pieces, and he's still alive. That man is one tough son of a bitch. Now, maybe what I wish they would do with Rise of Skywalker is turn, and this is probably not really, like, I wouldn't say frowned upon, but a not really liked theory. Turn Rey evil. Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, said that her parents were just nobodies. That she didn't really have parents that matter. What if Ben searched her thoughts and saw an implanted memory? That she is a clone with Palpatine's DNA and someone else's DNA. That Palpatine is in her head and Palpatine turns her. And then Ben, realizing the magnitude of the power that he's dealing with, Kylo's dealing with, he is redeemed. He turns to the light. He becomes the Anakin Skywalker of the story after being evil for so long, after killing his dad, after all this pain and suffering that he's done. He turns to the light, battles Rey, kills her, and the Skywalker legacy will be fulfilled. He will have did what Anakin, his grandfather, could not, and kill Sidious. And end Sidious permanently. That would make this entire trilogy worth it. Because Last Jedi was bad because they introduced someone like Snoke and he was just cannon fodder. Maybe that is what they're gonna do. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm hoping for something that is frowned upon. But this December, we'll see. I'm hoping it's not another bait and switch like Last Jedi. Wow, I've been rambling for 30 minutes now. But this is something I want to do more on my channel. If you guys are interested and actually found me talking for 30 minutes, like, interesting, just, why don't you go ahead and let me know in the comments below, and I'll be doing more of these. Like I said, I have a plan to do it maybe once a month, maybe 2 times a month. If you guys don't like it, I'll stop, but, like, I have a feeling you guys like to express opinions and like to talk about different stuff. So if you guys did like it, leave a comment below. And if you guys want me to discuss certain topics that you guys want to hear, leave a comment below and tell me what you think would be a good topic to discuss. I'd love to talk with any of you about it. Anyways, that'll do it for this video. And I want to go ahead and thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.